It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, today we're going to talk about leasing. You know, I'm seeing some really crazy stuff around leasing inside the document imaging channel. Those folks sell supply and service print equipment. I mean, it's getting pretty creative, to say the least. But folks, I recently was shared an acceptance and delivery certificate from our friends over at U.S. Bank. In other words, U.S. Bank, dealer uses U.S. Bank to finance some equipment. And then U.S. Bank, as part of that documentation, they have a delivery and acceptance form. And the verbiage on this delivery and acceptance form is so insane that I wanted to do a video and talk about this because it's really nutty. Back on February 13th, I put a little mini article out there on LinkedIn, and the title of the article was, "Who Will Disrupt the 1990 Leasing Programs of Print Equipment Dealers?" You know, when I wrote that article, I didn't think insanity would be the disruptor. And the reason that I wrote that article was because there was an executive from a very new leasing company that came to town, like we really need another one of those, doing things the way we did them in 1990 to begin with. But anyway, this executive was given an interview, and the discussion was a topic around how to avoid the interest rate question. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the hell are we talking about? I really did think it was 1990 as I listened to this thing. It prompted this article. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want to talk about today. U.S. Bank. Let me get my sharp interactive board working here because this is so insane that I'm going to highlight it. And of course, if U.S. Bank wants to come on the end of the day with Ray and justify why they would be doing this kind of craziness, that'd be fantastic. But I don't expect them to do it. Maybe they could put it in the comments. But let me just read you a section of this delivery and acceptance, and then you just think about this as an end user. And then think about this as just a logical business person. Here we go. You acknowledge and agree that although the equipment and or financed items have not been delivered and or installed, you hereby accept such equipment and or financed items on an as is, where is basis. I guess we have the new where is lease acceptance form. Because nobody knows where the shit's at. It's stuck on a ship. They don't have a chip to make it. Who cares where it is? If the customer's crazy enough to sign a lease for 5 years and not get anything delivered to them, well, we should be able to fund that. Are you out of your minds? Folks, I could almost expect this kind of insanity from like a small leasing company. But from U.S. Bank? Come on, really? I mean, I don't know who else might be doing this. There's a rumor out there the CIT has a similar acceptance form where they're going to go ahead and fund deals as long as the customer accepts the fact that the stuff might not ever show up. I mean, this is so absurd. It's not. I mean, folks, you could almost make a comedy out of this, sadly. But I'm just thinking, have we just lost our minds? I mean, who are our leasing? These are the main players out there, right? You know, I put these new guys up there, Amur. You know, I made them kind of small because I don't really know how big they are, and I'm questioning why they're even in our space. What are they expected to accomplish? Are they going to be disruptive? Are they going to come in and do everything that everybody else has been doing for the last 40 years? You know, when some of these new folks came into town, I was hoping we'd get to see some disruption. We wouldn't be having conversations about how to avoid the interest rate question. I mean, if that's going to be our innovation, we're all in trouble. I don't expect that Great America, you know, would be doing any of this kind of stuff. I mean, I consider Great America to be the biggest of the smallest leasing companies, but I don't expect them to be allowing dealers to fund leases where the equipment's, where's the equipment? I mean, folks, this is so crazy. It's nuts. You know, I can understand it. If it's a big deal, there's hundreds of machines to install. You want to pay the vendor in a short period of time. Maybe you're going to get a discount on the hardware. You use that discount as part of your process to come up with your costs. And it would be nice if the end users would sign off and accepted everything so you could go get it funded and then pay the vendor. That kind of makes sense, okay? We've all been in those situations. But that's not what this is. This is a mechanism where we're selling equipment that we know isn't even going to be delivered, and we don't even have a timeline of when it's going to get delivered. And we're going to make promises to end users based on some what? Where is clause? This is totally insane. I mean, it's just totally insane. How many of you would go out and buy a car, sign a 5-year lease on it, Start paying right now today. And the clause is you agree to pay all these bills on an as is, where is clause. Where's my car? Well, it's stuck on a lot. There's no chips to put in it, but it'll get there soon. Just keep paying your payment. It's just absurd. No one would do this. But yet in our industry, we expect our end users to do this because we still are so focused on selling hardware without any kind of services. We're still so obsessed with product-centric thinking and product-centric mindsets. And we want to move into the future. And these are the kind of shenanigans we're going to do. Folks, I don't expect this from DLL. And if DLL, if you start doing this kind of stuff, I'm calling you out on it. I don't expect it from Xerox Financial Services. I really don't expect it from Great America. There's a rumor out there that CIT is already doing it. Amur, I don't even know what they might do. But Wells Fargo, you could almost realistically expect it. I don't want to dig on them too hard, but they've had their issues over the last few years. You know, these are the kind of things I would almost expect from them. U.S. Bank, a where is clause on a lease. Ladies and gentlemen, here's an option for you. Why don't you go to your leasing company and tell them this. Hey, we have this customer, we want to upgrade them. We don't have the equipment. The equipment they have is kind of working pretty good. We could get another 2 years out of that equipment in that office. What we want to do is we want to go to that end user. We want you to give us a damn good buyout, by the way. And they'll do it because you're the vendor, right? And go ahead and put them in a 2-year lease. Do that lease in a buck out lease so that when the new equipment comes in, you can control the buyout back and go ahead and upgrade them. Is that going to be a little more painful for you? Probably so. But wouldn't you rather experience some pain and push that pain onto your customer? Because here's the reality, my friends. When this stuff doesn't show up, and there's a real possibility some of it might not, what are you going to do with all these leases? You're going to go in there and tell the customer, well, I hope you're willing to pay for another 6 months because I don't know when it's coming, but you did sign that where is clause. Ladies and gentlemen, don't put yourself in a terrible position. Leasing companies, I can't even believe you would allow the dealers to put themselves in this position, let alone the end users. We need to bring some discipline to leasing, and we need to do it now. Because you know what? We really do have good salespeople. The fact that they can sell nothing, get people to agree to pay for nothing, is pretty astonishing. Why don't we take that talent and get them to do things that are customer-centric and allow the customers to win? At the same time, let's innovate our industry and do things the right way. Some things to think about today, my friends, but we all know this: status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.